The track and field world is finally getting its moment. But at what cost? Fans are finally cheering for innovation. Athletes are starting to earn what they deserve, and new leagues are sprouting like wildfire. The Grand Slam Track Series and the soon-to-launch Athlos League are pushing the sport into uncharted territory. But as exciting as this surge may be, a storm could be brewing. Multiple leagues may bring short-term buzz, but long-term chaos. And a former Olympic silver medalist sees the writing on the wall, and he believes only one path leads to real success. In a powerful statement that cuts through the current hype, Fitzroy Dunkley compared today's track landscape to fractured early days of major American sports. Back when the NFL had to fight the AFL, or when the NBA clashed with the ABA. It was a war for attention, money, and talent. But it wasn't until those leagues merged that the magic truly began. According to Dunkley, track and field is standing at that very crossroads right now. His warning is clear. Track and field is dangerously fragmented. Each league comes with its own rules, its own calendar, and its own storyline. Fans are left confused, athletes are stretched thin, and the sport's overall momentum is lost in translation. We've got the stars, he says. We've got the moments. But what we don't have is structure, Dunkley further added. For Dunkley, the answer lies in one bold move: unification. A single, centralized league could flip the script for track and field. With shared marketing, a universal championship system, and clearer narratives, the sport could finally scale globally. Think year-long rivalries, playoffs, and big money deals that actually reward the athletes, fueling the spectacle. Just like the NFL and NBA once did, track needs to stop competing within itself and start building as one. Dunkley isn't asking for less competition. He's demanding smarter collaboration. With a unified front, track can go from niche to mainstream, from overlooked to unmissable. The blueprint is already there. Now it's just a question of whether the sport has the vision and the guts to follow it. Meanwhile, with the Athlos coming in with their league, Olympians like Sha'Carri Richardson and more are holding stakes in the league. In a bold move that reshapes the business of women's track and field, Athlos has announced that 3 of its biggest stars, Sha'Carri Richardson, Gabby Thomas, and Tara Davis-Woodhall, they are not just competing in the league, but are now co-owners. The league, founded by Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian, confirmed that the trio will serve as advisor owners and shareholders as it evolves into a full-fledged team-based format in 2026 and expands to include field events. The ownership opportunity wasn't initially on the table when the athletes first joined Athlos, but their star power, influence, and commitment to grow in the sport proved undeniable. We were focused on bringing them into the league as founding owners to ensure we're building a league that our athletes will love, said Ohanian. The decision aligns with Athlos' mission to shift the dynamics of athlete compensation and visibility. These women are no longer just faces of the brand. They're now shaping its future from within. With the team format set to debut after the 2025 World Athletics season, Athlos is building momentum. The league has already turned heads with a massive $500,000 purse at its first event and a visually rich presentation that blends track action with entertainment. Now, with its most electrifying names holding equity, Athlos signals a new chapter, one where elite athletes aren't just running for medals, but building legacies on and off the track. Michael Johnson claimed that it would be a revolution. Noah Lyles, meanwhile, questioned these claims from day one. As for the fans, they didn't know whether to be realistic about the Grand Slam track or to hope that this would be the event that would change track and field. But come the debut, it was Noah Lyles' doubts that won, as not even half the seats were filled at the Kingston edition of GST. And guess what? The critics were quick to call the whole project hyped and a marketing and logistical misfire. But for those who thought that Johnson's brainchild was about to see an early end, they would get the shock of seeing how much of a difference a change in city makes. As for the fans, they were confused about whose side to take. After all, it was labeled a flop from the start, a debut meet that struggled to fill even half the seats, with entire stretches of track left deserted. Critics were quick to call it overhyped and a marketing and logistical misfire, as evident by the lack of energy at the Kingston edition of the Grand Slam track. But for those who thought Johnson was about to quit, they just saw what a difference a change in city makes. After all, From the moment the Grand Slam track landed in Philadelphia, everything changed. The energy was undeniable, electric, even. Crowds didn't just show up, they flooded in. Gone were the empty bleachers and awkward silences. In their place, roaring cheers, bustling stands, and a spectacle that finally matched the hype. For a league that had been blasted for its underwhelming start, this felt like a full-blown rebirth. The transformation wasn't subtle. In Philly, the grandstands were packed to capacity. The fanfare was deafening, and the stakes felt real. The iconic city backdrop only added to the drama, giving the league a second wind that few saw coming. Suddenly, Grand Slam track wasn't a cautionary tale. It was a comeback story that track and field didn't know it needed. There was an undeniable electricity to the races this time around. The athletes responded to the crowd, and the crowd fed off the performances. Every sprint, every jump, every finish line dash pulsed with high-stakes tension. The show wasn't just back on track. It was racing full throttle. The league's promise of unprecedented prize money and marquee matchups finally felt justified. After the Kingston stumble, many had written Grand Slam track off as another flashy concept with no staying power. But Philadelphia turned that narrative on its head. The atmosphere, the turnout, the energy, it was everything the inaugural meet wasn't. And with that, the league proved it might just have the legs to go the distance. And surely, fans are utterly excited about the same. As soon as the news hit the internet, fans online flocked to the comments section to express their opinions. The Grand Slam track league was declared dead on arrival after Kingston, but Philly flipped the script. One fan captured the shift perfectly, adding, "Great-looking venue and improvements from meet to meet. From barren stands to a visually charged atmosphere." Philadelphia wasn't just a step up. It was a statement that the league could grow, adapt, and impress. Even as Philadelphia stunned with atmosphere, a fan watching from abroad noted, "The bird's-eye shot of the athletes running made me feel a bit disconnected from the incredible action." It's proof that while the in-person turnaround was massive, some broadcast aspects still lag. Yet the very fact that fans in Ghana are invested enough to request better angle signals just how far the league has come. Another fan didn't hold back, praising the meet outright. Races were highly competitive and fast. Pacing of the meet was excellent. This wasn't just a cosmetic change. Philadelphia finally brought the promised elite-level action. The league no longer felt like a concept in testing. It became a legitimate high-performance spectacle that delivered from start to finish. In Kingston, silence ruled. In Philly, someone inside the venue shared, "I was in that grandstand and it was packed." Philly brought it. That raw, first-hand confirmation is the clearest evidence of transformation. Empty seats gave way to roaring support, and Grand Slam track found the crowd energy it had so desperately lacked. The league's revival wasn't just emotional. It sparked intellectual engagement, too. As one fan asked, "How do the distance runners compete for the overall title if they only run one race and lose out on a possible 12 points?" That kind of question didn't follow Kingston. It took Philly's success to get fans genuinely invested in the sport's structure, thus showing signs of improvement. It remains to be seen how things pan out from here on. Legend meets the future. Those 4 words said it all. On the historic strands of Franklin Field, teenage sensation Quincy Wilson came face-to-face with track and field royalty, Michael Johnson. The occasion? Day 1 of the Philadelphia edition of Grand Slam track. Quincy wasn't there to compete. He came simply as a fan. But Wilson did not blend into the crowd in the years to come. He stood out, and now, the young man is almost unrecognizable. As Wilson and Johnson exchange words, one a living legend, the other a rising one, the crowd around them surged. Phones raised, voices called out, selfies, autographs, cheers. Quincy was surrounded, and yet he smiled. In every video from that day, Wilson could be seen beaming, leaning down to sign shirts, posing for photos, giving Lil fans moments they'll remember forever. Calm, composed, gracious. A far cry from how things unfolded just a month earlier. Back at the 129th Penn Relays, Quincy Wilson had stolen the show in every sense. Anchoring Butler School's 4x400-meter team, He took the baton in fourth place and lit up Franklin Field like it was his personal proving ground. He blazed that final lap in a jaw-dropping 43.99 seconds, breaking his own record for the fastest split in Penn Relay's history. But that moment of glory quickly turned chaotic. Barely able to catch his breath, sweat still streaming down his face, Quincy was mobbed. Fans, race officials, even one young woman was trying to snap a selfie before he could exhale. He tried to hold his ground, lightly pushing back, silently asking for space. But the crowd kept pressing in. It was a reminder, greatness comes with a price. Fast forward to Grand Slam track, and it looked like a character-breaking moment for him. Quincy handled it like a veteran. No flaring nostrils, no visible frustration. Just a poised 17-year-old with the maturity of someone twice his age. The moment could have gone south, but he made sure it didn't. Later that evening, Grand Slam Track's official Instagram captured the moment in a perfect caption. The People's Champ starstruck Quincy Wilson took time to give the fans a moment they won't forget. Indeed, he did, because sometimes it's not just about speed. It's about grace, on and off the track. Historically, there were instances of mutual appreciation between Quincy and his fan base. When Quincy Wilson touched down in his hometown after making waves at the Paris Olympics, he wasn't just returning with world-class performances. He was coming home to love. The 17-year-old phenom was greeted by a sea of fans at the airport, cheering, waving flags, holding signs. It wasn't just a welcome. It was a celebration. Quincy, ever humble, took a moment to soak it all in and give back. "It feels amazing," he said, still wearing that signature grin. "I can't believe all the support here. Just supported me just coming in. It feels amazing to just come out here and just represent my country, represent my state, and most definitely put it out for DMV, District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia." That pride, District of Columbia, Maryland, Virginia, was etched in every word he spoke. When asked how it felt to be met by so many strangers showing love, the Olympian's eyes lit up again. "It's amazing," he repeated. "You always want to be in that spotlight. As a 16-year-old athlete, just come out here doing your best. And you never knew that would come out, and it would be this. So I'm just so excited, so thankful for the moment. I'm just enjoying every single person that's out here and just giving back, because that's what everyone did for me when I was at that age." In that moment, it wasn't about medals or times or records. It was about connection, about a young athlete who made his community proud and never forgot where he came from. Just 24 hours before lining up for her first professional 100M race, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone had already felt the heat from Akron Nugent. The Jamaican sprint hurdler blazed a phenomenal 12.44s in the 100-meter hurdles on day one of Grand Slam track, outpacing Sydney and then confidently declaring, "I feel like knowing that she's Sydney going to come back with that competition mindset. I feel like it will push me a lot more." Did it rattle Sydney? Not even close. But as for her fans, there's a flood of reactions. In a relaxed pre-race interview with Tiara Williams, Sydney showed no signs of pressure, just purpose. "I'm trying to evolve. I'm trying to be the next best version of me." She was all set to do the hard things and go up against the best of the best. And on the penultimate day, Sydney showed her capability in the women's 100-meter event. On June 1st, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone may have finished behind Akron Nugent in her professional 100M debut, but the performance gave many reasons to celebrate. She clocked 11.21 seconds, plus 0.1 meters per second, just 0.09 seconds off Nugent's winning time. Remarkably, this was Sydney's first 100M race since 2018, back in her college days. In preparation, she had only a few sessions with Trayvon Bromell to fine-tune her block starts before stepping into the Grand Slam track arena. Despite that, she managed to outpace established 100M sprinter Taji Kambunji, making her debut nothing short of impressive. Meanwhile, track and field fans quickly took notice of the standout moments from her performance. They lined up on X to share their takes on the event. One such comment went, "Sydney as a 400 hurdler running 11.21 is actually insane." Call a loss on paper, but Sydney's debut was a win for the sport. And if this is what she looks like after just a few practice starts, the best version of her might be coming faster than anyone expected, and creating magic in the events apart from her trademark 400-meter hurdles is not so uncommon in the Olympian story. Last year, ahead of the Paris Olympics, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone claimed victory over Gabby Thomas at the Los Angeles Grand Prix. Gabby, who specializes in the 200M, finished sixth with a time of 22.68 seconds. Interestingly, this marked only their second head-to-head meeting, the first being at the 2023 NYC Grand Prix, where Sydney won the 400-meter in 49.51 seconds, just ahead of Gabby's 50.29. In LA, Sydney stepped into Gabby's signature event, the 200M, and still came out on top. Yet, what stood out most was that later in the season, Gabby went on to win gold in the women's 200-meter, while Sydney opted not to compete in the event. Therefore, trying out a different event and mastering it is not new for Sydney. However, her fans have an idea about those parts of the story. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is redefining what it means to be versatile on the track. After her 100M debut at Grand Slam track, an eye-popping 11.21 seconds, fans were left stunned, inspired, and maybe even a little confused. This is wild. The best female 400 MH we've ever seen running a 100M at 11.2. Love her challenging herself, one fan commented. But this wasn't just some off-the-cuff experiment. Sydney had been quietly laying the groundwork for something big. Back in early May, she opened her season with a world-leading time in the 400-meter hurdles, her signature event. But she didn't stop there. Within weeks, she had dropped sharp performances in the 100-meter hurdles and the flat 100M, showcasing a range that few in track and field even dare to attempt. So, when another fan wrote, "Sydney has another event she will become great in," it didn't sound like wishful thinking. It felt like a glimpse into what might be next. Could the 100M be that new frontier? Possibly, but there's a catch. Consistency will be the key. Just last year, Sydney sparked curiosity with a few promising runs in the 200M, only to quietly step away from the event. Fans are hopeful this 100M debut is the beginning of a longer journey. But even if it's not, what she's done already is remarkable. Let's count the events she's taken seriously at one point or another. 100M, 100 hurdles, 200M, 400M relays, 400M flat, and 400-meter hurdles. That's practically the entire sprint catalog. OMG, is there any race she can't do? Hashtag #GoSidGo, someone wrote, echoing what everyone was thinking. Of course, track fans will always find a way to keep it real and funny. One summed it up with a bit of humor. "She's such a 400M runner, man, LOL. Her form is just a quarter form, but she ran a damn good time for her first one." Quarter miler or not, Sydney is proving that greatness isn't tied to a single lane. Whether it's one straightaway or a full lap of hurdles, she shows up, locks in, and performs. And the most exciting part? She's only just getting started. Nothing better than a packed grandstand of fans, iconic backdrop, and thrilling races. That's how Grand Slam track CEO Michael Johnson summed up the electric atmosphere at Philadelphia's Franklin Field on May 31st. His words, posted on X alongside a snapshot of the vibrant scene, perfectly captured the moment. The scarlet track, the roaring crowd, and the crisp early summer air setting the stage for a powerful start to GST's third edition. And it wasn't just hype, the numbers spoke, too. Track and field experts confirmed that the Philly stop drew significantly larger crowds than the league's debut in Kingston, Jamaica, just a month earlier. The enthusiasm wasn't lost on the athletes either. Transgender athlete A.B. Hernandez at CIF State Track and field prelims. Next, stay. For Anna Cockrells, it was a homecoming to remember. Years ago, she was just a student athlete competing at Franklin Field. This time, she returned as a star, welcomed with thunderous applause. "It's so fun running in front of a really engaged crowd," she said after her race. "I mean, the second we walked out, they were excited. Everything seemed to click on the track. Thrilling finishes, a buzzing crowd, and the kind of energy that makes sports magical. But off the track, not everything went as smoothly. Fans across the U.S. voiced frustration over the broadcast experience. Despite Johnson's clear mission to make GST accessible to everyone, many couldn't find it on traditional TV. One disgruntled viewer summed it up bluntly on X. They got this Grand Slam track and field event streaming on Peacock, bro. Who the fool asterisk has a Peacock subscription? Why can't I watch this shit on TV? It wasn't an isolated complaint. As GST partnered with Peacock, the CW, and Eurosport to stream across different regions, American fans found themselves left out or forced behind a paywall. Another track fan echoed the growing sentiment online. Peacock sucks. Sports broadcasting is cooked these days. For an event aiming to modernize track and field and bring it to the masses, this was a clear misstep, one that the league and NBC may need to revisit quickly if they want to maintain momentum both on and off the track. However, the authorities are yet to address the issue, and the Day 2 races are already underway. Then is there a bigger storm waiting for the authorities of GST and NBC from the track and field fans? It appears so, as fans left several angry reactions on social media. It's so dumb, that blunt take from a frustrated track and field fan on X summed up what many were feeling during Grand Slam Track's Philly edition, a thrilling meet that was, for many, frustratingly out of reach. The issue? Despite NBC being more affordable than FlowTrack, viewers were still slammed with a paywall through Peacock, NBC's streaming platform. For an event that promised broad accessibility, this felt like a betrayal to fans who were eager to tune in and expected more. One fan didn't hold back the sarcasm, posting, "Peacock? More like Can't watch. Guess I'll just sprint to the nearest sports bar instead." It wasn't just a joke, it reflected a bigger truth. A 2024 poll showed that most American fans still prefer traditional television for watching sports. But with GST locked behind Peacock, many felt stranded and started looking for alternatives. That's when the conversation turned to a new platform, X. Need to do live broadcasts on X, someone suggested, and it wasn't far-fetched. Last year, Noah Lyles streamed his Adidas Atlanta City games live on X, completely free. Athlos NYC followed suit. Both were praised for their accessibility and wide reach. Could GST follow that path? Good question. Someone replied on X, but no one had a clear answer. For a league trying to bring track and field back into the spotlight, the message is loud and clear. Fans are ready to cheer, but they need a front row seat that doesn't come with a subscription fee. Whether that seat is on traditional TV or streaming free on X, the clock is ticking for GST to figure out. Kenny Bednarek equaled the fastest 100m time of 2025 with a scorching sprint at Grand Slam Track as Team GB athletes found plenty of success in Philadelphia. Bednarek's time of 9.86 was a new personal best despite slow conditions at Franklin Field, beating his run in the Paris Olympics 100-meter final. And he promised, "This is not the best. We still got a lot to go. You're all just getting a taste," in his victory interview. Meanwhile, his compatriot Melissa Jefferson-Wooden sent a similar statement of intent in the women's short sprints by demolishing Gabby Thomas for the second day in a row as she now comfortably leads the Women's Racer of the Year competition. And there was success for three Team GB athletes as Josh Kerr triumphed in a nail-biting 1500m. Long hurdler Lena Nielsen snatched a surprise win in her flat 400m, and Matt Hudson-Smith took the overall men's long sprint slam and $100,000 cash prize despite finishing fifth over 200m. Kerr was made to fight hard for his victory by reigning Olympic champion Cole Hocker and Canadian Marco Arop, who claimed the men's short-distance slam in Pennsylvania. Having triumphed in the 800m once again on day one, this time Arop could back it up in the longer race. He hit the front hard on the final lap and initially gapped the field before Kerr and Hocker clawed their way back into contention, coming off the final bend for a 100-meter sprint to the line. The taller Brit crossed the line less than a tenth of a second ahead of Hocker in a reverse of the Paris finale last summer as Arop finished fourth to claim the slam, while Nielsen let out the whole home straight in her race, holding off the charging Andernet Knight and slam winner Jasmine Jones. Hudson-Smith said his aim was just to survive the long sprint's 200m after he pulled his hamstring during the same race in Miami. But Alexander Gando edging out Jareem Richards for victory meant the Paris 2024 silver medalist clung onto the slam by a point. However, Georgia Turner-Bell couldn't quite complete a quadruple for Team GB athletes, as she was beaten in a sprint to line in the women's 800-meter after contact from Australia's Jess Hull earlier in the final lap, with Derib Welteji making it 2 wins from 2 instead. Alison Dos Santos was beaten for the first time in Grand Slam track as he ran an awkward flat 400m to finish third, conceding the long hurdle slam to impressive debutante Trevor Bassett, and an outright lead in the men's Racer of the Year standings to Bednarek. Fellow newbie Nico Young won the men's long distance after Grant Fisher pulled out late with an injury. He produced a jet-propelled final lap of the men's 3,000-meter to overhaul rivals, including Ireland's Andrew Coscoran. Part of Jefferson Wooden's now commanding lead in the women's competition stemmed from Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone dropping down from long to short hurdles in Philadelphia, but after a disappointing day won the Olympic champion, responded well in the flat 100m, finishing second behind a rampant Akron Nugent, who scored a maximum at Franklin Field. Mare Lady Paulino is now the closest challenger, having coasted to her second victory of the weekend in the women's long sprints 200m ahead of Penn graduate Isabella Whitaker. And Jamal Britt also claimed $100,000 in the men's short hurdles, placing second in the flat 100m behind runaway winner Trey Cunningham, with that bounty particularly valuable to the unsponsored American. It was a one-horse race in the men's short sprints 100m finale in Philadelphia. The action may have finished for this weekend, but there's still plenty more adrenaline-filled racing to come at the final round of Grand Slam track in Los Angeles. UCLA's Drake Stadium will play host to the stars you've grown to know, love, and admire throughout the first 3 rounds, with well over $1 million still to be handed out. And the all-important racers of the year will be crowned in the city that will be the center of the sporting world for the 2028 Olympics. And it will all be live on TNT Sports and Discovery Plus. So do tune in from June 27th to 29th. Kerr was back to his best against the reigning Olympic champion. She was nowhere in the 200m, but Lena Nielsen turned it all around in the second long sprints race. Bednarek has put the men's sprinting world on notice with that flying performance and told TNT Sports' Radzi Chinyanganya that the best is yet to come in 2025. It feels amazing. I came out to perform, and that's what I did. This is not the best. We've still got a lot to go. We've not even peaked yet, so you're all just getting a taste. And in a new personal best of 9.86, Bednarek was in a league of his own as second place comes down to a photo finish between Hughes and Lavelle. In slow conditions, the American has also equaled the fastest men's 100-meter time of the year. Result: 1. Bednarek, 9.86 first overall. 2. Lavelle 3. Hughes 2. 4. Coleman 6. 5. DeGrasse 4. 6. Onwuzurike 7. Brown 5. DNS Miller 8. Can Kung Fu Kenny continue his stunning form at Grand Slam track and make it 6 wins from 6? Coleman may have something to say, while sadly Christian Miller is a DNF. Start list: Christian Coleman, USA 3, Unity Onwuzurike, NIG 2, Brian Lavelle, Jam 5, Andre DeGroskin 5, Zharnel Hughes, GBR 8, Kenny Bednarek, USA 12, Aaron Brown, Can 6. She continues to lead the Women's Race of the Year competition with another maximum in Philadelphia, and Jefferson Wooden said, while celebrating, "It means everything. I've been working so hard for this, and I'm just learning so many new things about myself. The way I go about training and staying disciplined when I'm not feeling my best. I'm so happy." The slam leader exploded out of the blocks, immediately putting meters into Thomas, and crossed the street with daylight to Davis in second, and a tight race for third that includes Asher Smith. Result: 1. Jefferson Wooden, 10.731. 2. Davis 2. 3. Davies 5. 4. Thomas 3. 5. Asher Smith 4. 6. Barnes 7. 7. Mays 6. 8. Prandini 8. First up is the women's short sprints 100m with Thomas Smarting after losing the deuce yesterday. Start list: Celera Barnes, USA, 2 points to slam. Delma Davies, Lib 1. Jenna Prandini, USA 3. Jaden Mays, USA 4. Tamari Davis, USA 6. Dina Asher Smith, USA 5. Gabby Thomas, USA 8. Melissa Jefferson Wooden, USA 12. He's won every 800M in Grand Slam track, but a change of tactics meant this was the first time a Canadian held on enough in the 1500 to take the slam and pocket $100,000. Afterwards, he said, "That was awesome. I was coming in with a lot of confidence, but I knew I'd have to be careful with the tactics, so I want to make sure I control the race for a moment at least and stay composed the whole way." Arap flew down the back straight and looked set to stun the longer distance runners like Emmanuel Wanyonyi in Kingston. But Kerr and Hocker kick hard off the bend to make it a two-horse race that the Brit wins on the lunge. However, Arap just managed to hold on to second meaning. He takes the slam overall by a point. Result: 1. Kerr, 3.34.442. 2. Hocker, 4. 3. Kessler, 5. 4. Arap, 1. 5. Hoey, 3. 6. Nuguse, 6. 7. Chappell, 7. 8. Giles, 8. I thought I had the win, but those guys are so strong. I have to give a lot of credit to them. Nuguse is a birthday boy, but Miami Slam champion Kerr is aiming to be the party pooper in the short distance. Result: Marco Arapkin, 12 points to slam. Cole Hocker, USA 3. Josh Kerr, GBR 4. Yared Nuguse, USA 6. Hobbs Kessler, USA 5. Josh Hoey, USA 8. Elliot Giles, GBR 1. Samuel Chappell, Ned 2. We've confirmed he does claim the slam as Richards really needed a victory, and Hudson Smith said afterwards that this felt a sweeter victory than his Kingston win. The last time I ran the 200 in Miami, I did by hamstring. This one my coach just told me to be safe and get round. I got round and got 100K, so can't complain. It's a long year. Running two high-quality races back to back is tough on the body, but we deal with it the best we can. It was always going to be hard going from lane 8, and Hudson Smith never got going, finishing 5th. He's labeled the slam champion, but we want to check the maths on that. Richards and Agando led onto the straight, but the Dominican had a ruthless finishing kick and may have given the Brit a massive helping hand there. Result: 1. Agando, 20.13, second overall. 2. Richards, 3. 3. Gardner, 6. 4. Samakonga, 5. 5. Hudson Smith, 1. 6. McCrae, 4. 7. Bowling, 7. 8. Powell, 8. He is in the hot seat after winning the 400M. This was the order that the Wolverhampton Olympic medalists claimed the Kingston Slam 2. So will history repeat itself? Colin McRae, USA, 8 points to slam. Javon Powell, Jam 2. Matthew Bowling, USA 4. Alexander Agando, Dom 3. Nuzala Samakonga, Zam 5. Jareem Richards, Try 6. Stephen Gardner, Ba 1. Matt Hudson Smith, GBR 12. The Penn graduate took second today, and overall, and said afterwards, "It's a great homecoming, and I'm really grateful to be here. And it's fun to come back as an older, wiser version of myself. I was a little freshman when I first stepped on Franklin Field, so it's nice to have this full circle moment." If she's ahead off the turn, it's game over, and Paulina was already cruising at that stage. She ran down Ede Nazer incredibly quickly, while Whitaker produced a stunning last 50M to move from 6th to 2nd. Results: 1. Paulino, 22.46, first overall. 2. Whitaker, 2. 3. By 4. 4. Ede Nazer, 7. 5. Price, 3. 6. Holmes, 5. 7. Maudsley, 6. 8. Nielsen, 8. The Bahraini was disqualified in yesterday's long sprint's 400M, so will be extra hungry today in the women's 200-meter. Startless lanes 1 to 8. Levi Nielsen, GBR, 3 points to slam. Charlene Maudsley, IR 4. Isabella Whitaker, USA 6. Jessica Baisiavi 2. Alexis Holmes, USA 5. Marilady Paulino, Dom 12. So with Ede Nazer, BRN 0. Nikki Shaw Price, Jam 8. Wow. The challenger shot down the home straight, like he'd been fired out of a cannon. Robinson had let out the last 2 laps with Coskren on his shoulder inadvertently acting as bodyguard prevent blanks coming round. Nothing could stop Young, though, who pockets $50,000, just like that after a 53.7 last lap. Result: 1. Young, 8 minutes and 1.03 seconds. 2. Gilman, 3. Robinson, 4. Coscoran, 5. Blank, 6. Kurgat, 7. Quemoy has been swamped the last couple of 3,000M races in Grand Slam track and comes out with a different strategy here. But Coscoran is right on his shoulder at the halfway stage. The American has been a man to beat in Grand Slam track men's long distance so far. But an injury means Young steps into his place today. Remember, the long distance has been shortened to just this race for $50,000, and Ireland's Corcoran won this in Miami. Start list: Ronald Quemoy, Ken; Sam Gilman, USA; Nico Young, USA; Graham Blanks, USA; Kai Robinson, US; Edwin Kurgat, Ken; Andrew Coscoran, Ire. McLaughlin Levrone held Nugent for the first half before the Jamaican stretched away to take the slam. McLaughlin Levrone popped up a bit too quick, but she's kept within range of winning the overall Women's Race of the Year with those 8 points. It was a 2-horse race, but Kamdunji was third in the race. Result: 1. Nugent, 11.11 first overall. 2. McLaughlin Levrone, 2. 3. Kambunji, 5. 4. Williams, 7. 5. Marshall, 6. 6. Tapper, 4. 7. Jones, 3. 8. Clemens, 8. It's safe to say McLaughlin Levrone is somewhat out of her comfort zone on the flat 100M in the short hurdles. She's not raced this properly since 2018, while Nugent seems the favorite to take the race and the slam. Start list: Megan Tapper, Jam, 6 points to slam. Tia Jones, USA, 8. Tataji Kambunji, Sway, 3. Sydney McLaughlin Levrone, USA, 4. Accra Nugent, Jam, 12. Danielle Williams, Jam, 2. Tonia Marshall, USA, 5. Christine Clemens, USA, 1. Britt said the $100,000 he's just won could mean the difference between continuing to compete at not. There was no pressure. I was coming out here trying to replicate what I did in Miami. I'm just going to save. I'm unsponsored, so I'm going to save that money, use it to my advantage to continue to run in the sport. Cunningham blasted away from field up the middle. It was a nail-biting 3-way fight between the 3 inside lane, though, as Britt snatched second on his lunge to win the slam overall. Result: 1. Cunningham, 10.36, second overall. 2. Britt, 1. 3. Simonelli, 4. 4. Tinch, 3. 5. Edwards Jr., 5. 6. Szymanski, 8. 7. Crittenden, 6. DNS Roberts, 7. The past couple years has been a struggle trying to get treatment and compete at the highest level and be the elite athlete I know I am. Trey Cunningham is looking like the favorite to win this race, the first of 4 flat 100M races coming up today. It could be a tall order for Britt to hold into his overall lead in the slam, though, as Daniel Roberts is a DNS. Start list: Eric Edward Jr., USA, 2 points in slam. Jamal Britt, USA, 12. Lorenzo Ndili Simonelli, Ida, 4. Freddie Crittenden, USA, 3. Cordell Tinch, USA, 8. Trey Cunningham, USA, 6. Jakob Szymanski, pole 1. Hull looked like she shoved the Brit as she attempted to escape being boxed in, and that may well have made all the difference. Hunter Bell was chasing down Welteji all the way down the straight, but just couldn't catch the Ethiopian, who takes a maximum in Philadelphia. Result: 1. Welteji, 1 minute and 58.94 seconds, first overall. 2. Hunter Bell, 3. 3. Hull, 2. 4. Caldwell, 4. 5. Mora, 6. 6. Wiley, 7. 7. Hiltz, 5. 8. Akins, 8. Welteji and Hull fought out a barnstorming women's 800-meter in the short distance. Can she hold on and claim the $100,000 over the shorter distance? She looked like she was easing off the throttle down the main straight, so should have a bit more in the tank, though Hiltz received a very warm welcome from the crowd and will be hard to beat. Start list: Jess Hull, AUS, 8 points to slam. Nikki Hiltz, USA, 6. Derive Welteji, F12. Mary Mora, Ken, 2. Georgia Hunter Bell, GBR, 5. Nia Akins, USA, 0. Abby Caldwell, AUS, 4. Addie Wiley, USA 3. Nielsen wins for Britain. She exited the final bend in the lead from lane 2, and try as Knight and Jones tried, they couldn't overhaul the challenger. Meanwhile, Jones' second place is enough to take the overall slam. Result: 1. Nielsen, 52.60, third overall. 2. Jones 1. 3. Knight 4. 4. Clayton 6. 5. Muhammad 5. 6. Cockrell's 2. 7. Folorunso 4. DNS Little 8.